I am Fernando Lima. I am 27 years old from Brazil. Since my late teens, I always felt culturally attached to Poland. And at some point, I just decided to come and live here. I really just knew music stars, let's say rock stars and people from bands. And of course, the other, not really celebrities, but famous people that most people know, like for example, the Pope. Many people point out similarities between Lula, our ex-president, and Lech Wałęsa. I think that the similarities, they come short on the fact that they both fought the dictatorship and they were from labor parties. Because Lula is of course a leftist and Lech Wałęsa, he leans much to the right-wing conservative, especially lately when he was in kind of scandal in the media, let's say, because of his view on certain issues. And of course that he helped to fight the left-wing dictatorship, while in Brazil it was a right-wing dictatorship. So I think that the similarities only come short then. There are many Polish people in Brazil. In fact, I heard that the second biggest Polish community of the world is in Porto Alegre, in the south of Brazil. And a funny story is that a Polish guy told me that here in Brazil, that he went to the south of Brazil and he heard people speaking Polish there. Although that Polish was actually Polish from the 18th century, because they traveled there, of course they moved there in the 18th century and the language didn't evolve. So they really talk Polish there as if they were in the 18th century yet. When I was in Brazil, I was playing in a band, and through the internet, when I was publicizing my band, I came to know some Polish amateur bands, and eventually I was curious because of the language mostly, and I started to know more bands. And I really became a fan of a band called Lilith from Radom, and other bands like Klosterkeller, Arthrosis, Chylinska, and things on that style. As I came to know Poland more because of the music, at some point I started to read more about Poland, about Polish history, and I felt that there was something there that you cannot find anywhere else. And in the beginning I was very curious, and as the years passed by, I just felt that everything that I read about Poland really called my attention for some reason. Traffic is really a huge problem in Brazil, especially in big cities like São Paulo, because the cities in Europe, they are really small compared to cities outside Europe. And of course, you have results in crime, in traffic, in lack of jobs. And something that you can always see when you come to Brazil is that the traffic is terrible, because the city is basically 20 million people and there is no urban planning, no developed architecture like there is in Europe, so it really gets a mess. I remember that one time coming out of my job, I left in the rush hour. It was around 6 and 7 p.m. and I took the bus. And from my work to my home, it would be something like 1 hour and a half walking, but the bus actually took 3 hours. So I slept, and at one point I woke up, and when I looked, the driver was not there. And I was like, where am I? Maybe the bus is in the garage already, I slept too much. And then I looked in the other cars in the street. The buses also had no drivers. And then I started to think, what is going on? And then I look outside the window, and they were all actually in the bar. They were drinking, waiting for the traffic to get faster so they could go back in the bus and drive. What surprised me in Poland was that most people here, they have this personal idea that Poland is not such a great country to live in. But for me, this is just a wrong idea that they have. Because most people here, they compare themselves to Germany or Sweden, other northern countries, and they really haven't been outside Europe. And I think that if they compared Poland, the standards of living in Poland to other countries outside Europe, they will see that Poland has pretty high quality of living. Polish language is extremely difficult. The grammar is very complicated, and it takes a long time for you to start learning the basics. There are some Polish words that I cannot find translation for them. I mean, like a proper translation anywhere, and I really love them. For example, kocham cię is a word that, an expression more like, that I really like. It's like so strong. Kochana, things similar. And other words, they really sound beautiful to me. I think because the language just sounds exotic, like dobranoc, things like this. I really love the sound of them. Polish women, they are a two-sided coin for me. They are definitely the most beautiful woman from far in the world. Extremely beautiful even. When I arrived here in Poland, I even got the impression that all of them were super top models. I mean, all of them. They all have perfect faces, no matter if they are skinny or not skinny, or tall or short, or blonde or brunette, or redhead, older or younger. They are all extremely beautiful. And in the other side of the coin, they really know that. So they really expect you to treat them like a princess. And in the end you do, because it's so easy to fall in love with them. There are many cultural differences, but the one that took me most time to get used to was that people here, they don't, in the first time, allow you such closeness as in South America. They expect you to be more formal. And only after a while, they start allowing you some closeness. One situation that happened to me a lot when I was living here is that in Brazil, we actually greet women by giving them a kiss, and with men, we shake their hand. Even if it's your boss, we give them a kiss when we meet them. And here in Poland, you shake hands in all occasions, mostly, especially when you don't know the person. And in many times, I was coming to meet somebody, and I was like going forward to give them a kiss in the cheek, and they were like going backwards and offering me their hands. I love Polish food, especially because of the winter. I get the impression that it's so caloric, so heavy at some points, and that really works out for me. When I came here in Poland, I thought that coffee would be really bad, like in USA. But I was surprised to see that there is no such a big difference from coffee in Brazil. And I think that because, of course, Poland imports coffee. And the only difference really is that they drink a big cup of coffee that is not so strong. And in Brazil, we drink a little amount that is very strong. That's the only difference. The telenovelas are extremely popular in Brazil. Everyone watches them, almost everyone at least. And I was surprised to see that here in Polish TV, people actually play them, and people sometimes watch them as well, and it's not so unpopular as I thought that it would be. Pozdrawiam internautów Wirtualnej Polskiej. Saudações internautas da Wirtualnej Polskiej.